Hi, everyone. Good morning, good day. Here with me today is Robin, and I'm really excited to have her on the episode. She is an entrepreneur, a speaker, a coach, and she helps professionals regain energy and clarity through nutrition, fitness, and mindset. We connected on LinkedIn, and we're really aligned in the sense that we both recognize the importance of nutrition, fitness, and mindset. So I'm excited to talk with you, Robin, about energy, clarity, and intention. I, first of all, I want to say welcome and good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Courtney. I'm so happy to be here.
Likewise, I really like your story. I learned more about you through LinkedIn, and like me, you are so passionate about your business, and your story resonates with me in the sense that when we're so passionate about something, it's easy to throw all of our energy, time, grit into something that we want to grow. But if we're not conscious of how we are, it's really easy to kind of beat ourselves to the ground in exhaustion. So I know from what I learned about you, you sort of hit a wall in a sense in growing a business that you're passionate about, but with the right mindset, you were able to turn things around. So could you tell us a little bit about your personal experience?
Absolutely. I've been known as the burnout breaker expert because I have a lot of tools in my toolbox that my mentors helped and taught me with, and what I teach my clients as well. I think it's really important to be able to pivot in all areas of life, but especially with your business. As an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, being able to pivot builds a muscle that allows us to grow, because it's never a straight line, Courtney, right? As I'm sure your listeners can know and understand, that there's no straight path. There's so many ways to get to the same destination, but we get to have the willingness to be able to pivot, to be able to change. And that comes with a growth mindset. I was actually just talking to my son about this the other day, about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. He's a high schooler. And, it's so easy to get into the realm of fixed mindset where you're like negative Nelly, but in reality, the whole world is at your fingertips. But you get to have that mindset. And sometimes we're born with it, sometimes we learn it. But I truly believe as entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, we get to learn how to have a growth mindset and be open to opportunities. So I've had many challenges and opportunities throughout my career. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. And I do not do now what I did 20 years ago. I've pivoted multiple times, and I really believe that comes with grit and grace together, and being able to pivot in the times when you don't want to, right? Like,
Mm,
we're learning something hard is not easy, but if it were easy, everyone would do it. And
yeah.
so there was a time where, I come from the marketing and advertising world. I was a very successful advertising consultant, growing ad agencies in-house for nonprofits. And they decided to cut me. They decided to bring things back in house. And that's very typical, right? We go back and forth in business like that. And I thought in the moment, your heart drops and you're like, oh my gosh, like, oh shit. What am I going to do? I'm bringing in a
Yeah.
six-figure plus income. My family's going to be screwed. I'm screwed. And in reality, it's such a blessing in disguise. And what a great opportunity, because that allowed me to get into nutrition and fitness and mindset work, which is what I do now. And it really is an opportunity for growth.
So much of what you're saying really resonates with my experience. Like you, I'm not doing the same type of work I was doing 20 years ago or up and through the 20-year time period as the work that I did as a lawyer. I close to 20 years, and it comes down to our perception when something comes up, whether it's voluntarily and we choose to leave, or in your case, things change and all of a sudden your world's kind of turned upside down. The way we choose to relate to it, we can get to your point when you were talking about your high school child, that we can sometimes get very rigid and look at things in one way, but that can cause us to feel stuck. But
Yeah.
when we notice our perception, the way that we're relating to our experience, or the way in which we kind of cause ourselves to be stuck, that's how we can free ourselves. That's how we can see that there are endless possibilities, but it is really important to strengthen our ability to be aware and to also have the tools, again, to your point, to pivot, to be flexible. And it's sort of like a mental yoga. Like how can we use our toolbox to find creative ways to adapt to what's here? So I know you put a lot of value on nutrition and fitness movement. What are some of the ways in which you feel that nutrition and movement can help high performers to sharpen their focus and open themselves up to greater possibility?
It is really the key and the cornerstone to all that you want. Food is fuel and movement is medicine. And if we're not doing both of those combined in a methodical way, then we are never going to be able to achieve the high performance as a high performing achiever. Because we need to fuel our body with the proper nutrition every so many hours in order to sustain our energy, in order to sustain our focus, in order to be sharper, in order to have the confidence to be in a room or a meeting with all men as a women high achiever and high performer. And
Mhm.
that fitness plays a huge role because it allows you to de-stress, right? It's your it's your
Yeah.
outlet to, release. And as a high performing woman, we need to release. And the release needs to be away from our family, away from the kids, away from our coworkers, right? We get to just be with ourselves and our body and understand that it's mind, body, and soul, literally, on how we get to move. Because how we do anything is how we do everything. And if we are not moving throughout the day, and especially women as we get older, lifting weights 3 times a week is key. 2 to 3, 3 to 4 times a week. And it doesn't have to be heavy and strong. We're not going for a weightlifting competition these days, right? We're going for strength. Because as women age, we lose bone mass.
Yeah.
And we're prone to different diseases and sicknesses and illnesses. But we can prevent that. We can be proactive with our health, which will allow us to skyrocket our career.
I really value movement in my life. And again, it doesn't have to be like we're crushing it in a spin class. I mean, that feels really good, or we're doing a boot camp, but just some type of movement and really connecting with the body. I know that in the work that I do and all that we juggle for our families, that we are constantly strategizing and working our magic to make everything align and work out as best as possible. And sometimes in all of the running around that I do, even though I'm moving and I'm doing a lot, I'm not actually feeling into the body. So some intentionality and carving out time, again, to your point, where it's not about taking care of the people that we care, like our families, but really turning inward and having this personal time where we can feel into the body and connect with how we are within the body, I think helps us to find more balance in our lives, and in turn we can be of better service to our family members, to the people that we work together with, the people that we work for. And nutrition, can you tell me, just get a little peek into in your world, how do you start your day in terms of nutrition? Is there something that helps you to really feel energized or to feel clear in the mind?
Absolutely. There's a few things. First thing I wake up, I have a glass of water. I keep
Mm.
my water next to my bed. So I just chug a lug, drink that water because it energizes us from the
Yeah,
start, right? And
yeah,
then I have a protein smoothie that I create from scratch
yeah.
that has protein in it, that has healthy fats in it, that has fruits in it, that has seeds in it, that
Mm.
has raw cacao in it, all of these things that our body needs in the morning. So those are the first two things that I do. I have my water and I have my protein smoothie, and we want to get about 20 to 25 grams of protein, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for women, and 15 to 20 grams of protein in between with our snacks. So it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks in between. And the key is to getting that protein in early in the morning
Mhm.
and fueling our body properly with what I just spoke about, because that's what's going to energize you. That's what's going to give you clarity. That's what's going to give you purpose. And you're going to be able to thrive during the day instead of just existing.
Awesome. Do you find that the clients that you work together with, when you teach them about nutrition and tuning into their bodies and their energy levels, do you find that it helps them to make better choices both in their professional and personal lives?
Absolutely. And, it's so funny when they have an aha moment because they're like, oh my God, like, it's so obvious, right? But so
Yeah.
many times it doesn't happen for whatever reason. And we work through that. But yes, they're making better decisions. They're calmer with their kids. They're more present with their family members, right? With their kids or their spouses,
Yeah.
significant other. And when they're in meetings and they're at work or they're working from home, they're on task, they're on point, they're more efficient with their time because they're fueling their body with the proper nutrition, which goes back to what I said before, as far as fueling our energy and clarity and just being in purpose on purpose every day,
Mhm.
all day.
I like that you say on purpose because one of the biggest struggles in my life is I know what makes me feel good. I know what needs to be done in order to optimize performance and health
Mhm.
and
Right.
mind body well-being. But in the speed of life and how much we tend to do as women, as moms, as professionals, we don't apply the brakes so that we can set that purpose, we can set that intentionality. And what I often speak about in the mindfulness programs that I offer in the workshops is that we can fall into autopilot where we're just kind of grinding out and we're not mindful. We're not doing things purposely or with intention. So I think that it is really important to deliberately set that time for yourself, whether it's the beginning of each week or having a schedule for the month, or even just taking time when you start your day to figure out how are you going to build these healthier choices into your life so that you can really sustain these more healthy and nurturing practices. Do you have any tips for someone who, like us, has family, is running a successful business, and given the speed at which they have to perform, they don't know how to begin to take better care of themselves?
Absolutely. I was just going to offer some tips and advice for your listeners, Courtney. So, what I do with my clients is we have a 7-day meal tracker. And so, when we're set up with a meal plan, we're set up for success. And without a plan, we're set up for failure. So, it's super simple. You can
Yeah.
literally eat the exact same thing all 7 days, or you can change it up. Everyone's different. Some people are like, I need the exact same thing. I don't want to vary. Some people are like, I
Yeah.
can't have the same thing every day. I'm going to be sick. Okay, great, no problem. There's options for everybody, right? And so
Yeah.
it's as simple as marking down on Sunday, before you go to the grocery store, what you need, what you're having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and your snacks in between for you and your family, right? So it's not only you, because sometimes, your kids are not going to be eating the same thing as you, or you're not eating at the same times or whatever. So you have a plan before you go to the grocery store. So you're not buying crap. You're not buying stuff that's not going to serve you. You're
Yeah.
buying your wholesome fruits and vegetables and your proteins, and you're staying on the outside of the store, and you're hardly ever going in the middle aisles, because the middle aisles is where the downfall problem happens. It's all
Ooh,
processed food, and that's a good nugget. So just remember, stay on the outside of the
I
grocery.
like,
That's where the produce is. That's where the fish is, the chicken, the meats, the
yeah.
milk, the other dairies, the eggs, cheese, stuff of that sort. And yes, of course, we're going to get some cranberry juice, but just make sure that it's 100% all natural,
Yeah.
100% juice, no sugar added, because that will get you too. So then from there, you have your plan, you go to the grocery store and you prep, and it takes maybe 2 hours, if that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you're prepping for a couple of days. You're not necessarily prepping for the whole week, but you're getting the kids' lunches organized. You're getting the proteins cooked. You're getting the veggies chopped. Anything that can make it easier, so it's grab and go during the week. So literally, Courtney, it's mindless. You're not thinking. You have
Yeah.
everything organize in individual containers. And I like to do protein in one container, veggies in one container, healthy carbs in one container, fruits in another container. That way you can mix and match.
Yeah.
Or the other option that some of my clients like is, do the complete meal in one container in single servings,
Yep.
or however many servings you need for your family that night or for you that night. So that's really simple. And the other thing I always do too with my clients is an accountability tracker. So there's 5 things that you can do daily, and it has to be done daily.
Yeah.
And the whole point of this is that you're checking things off as you go. So you're winning all day long. It could be as simple as waking up when the alarm goes off and not hitting snooze, drinking my water when I wake up, having my protein shake or my protein omelet when I wake up, right?
Yeah.
Simple things like that. So you're winning all day long. And so combined with those 2 items, as far as the nutrition meal planning tracker and the accountability tracker, you are good to go and you are winning all day, every day. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get it right. And that's okay. Usually
Yeah.
takes about 1 to 2 weeks for my clients to really understand the nutrition and understand how to do this, because it's new, right? It's like a
Yeah.
kid learning how to ride a bike, right? They don't
Right.
go from a bicycle to a regular bike, in a day. They have to practice and they have to learn how to do it and build the muscle in order to sustain it over time. And that's the key for your lifetime.
Yeah, well, thank you for all this. There's a few things I want to unpack, but the what you're sharing about practice, when I teach the mindfulness-based stress reduction program, usually around week 3, when we check in and see how home practice is going, because attendees are encouraged to practice in between when we meet each week, to practice meditation, and there are recordings. And when we get to week 3 and we check in, you can see, some people are able to carve out or build in the time into their schedule more easily than others. But you'll hear a handful of people who are really hard on themselves saying, I did good part of the week, but I really messed up, 4 or 5 days of the week. And this compassion piece, to know that it's something new, and like learning a bicycle doesn't just happen the first time you get on a bike, but to be gentle with yourself when it's not an all or nothing type thing. If you fall off the wagon, then knowing that in that moment you can start again, that you can have the glass of water, that you can make yourself a healthy meal or take with you a nutritionist snack. But I like so much, well, first of all, the middle part of the supermarket, that's genius. Don't go there, danger zone, but to know that the outside parts of the supermarket are the safer zones. I really like that. And what you have to teach your clients is so practical and accessible. And while there is the mindfulness piece, the awareness, when you get everything together, whether it be on Sundays, the rest of your week, you don't have to think for each meal or have to effort each day. It's already set up for you so that you're more inclined to win than you
Yeah,
are to just throw the towel in.
exactly.
So I love that. And there was one other piece. Oh, the accountability, to be able to each day, like not even each day, but throughout the day, to commend yourself, to check off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes of how great of a job you're doing. I think that we're so apt to find the things we don't do right, but how wonderful to go throughout your day to say winning, 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 winning. So
Absolutely.
it sounds like a really strong, very encouraging and supporting program, plus getting to work together with you. Can you share with us a successful story of one of your clients who followed this regimen and really noticed transformation in their lives?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of successful stories. So the one I'm thinking of is someone who came to me that had started and stopped every 4 to 6 weeks, a new workout program, a new nutrition program. And this was the cycle of her life. And she came to me because she saw what I was doing and how happy I was and how I was so committed and dedicated and consistent with my nutrition and fitness. So what we did with her is exactly what I just shared, Courtney. We created a 7-day meal plan and we created a grocery shopping list to go with it. And she was someone that just wanted something different every day, no problem. So that's what we did. And then, the first week she was like, you know what, that was really hard. And I was like, okay, keep going. That's great. It's not supposed to be easy. And
Yeah.
then the next week she was like, you know what, it wasn't as hard. And then by like the third week, she was like, I think I'm onto something. And she started losing weight. She didn't want to lose a lot. She had to lose 5 to 10 pounds. She came to me for, and she wanted to start feeling stronger. She started a new exercise program that she'd been wanting to try for a while, but didn't think she was strong enough to do.
Yeah.
And she was killing it. She was texting me her workouts, and it was no joke. And then about the fourth week, she was like, I feel so good. I don't feel like I'm going to quit. And I asked her, I said, why do you feel that way? And she said, because I have tools in my toolbox and I'm winning every single day.
Mm.
There's nothing that I can't do because I've shifted my mindset as a model of positive change, which is the key in order to be successful. And we worked on her limiting beliefs with nutrition, triggers from her childhood, things that she had never unpacked. And then we got to the 6th week and she was like, girl, I got this going on. I am so excited. I'm so proud of myself. And she's like, I knew you were the one. I knew you were going to be able to help me. And it's so important, Courtney, to know that listeners, if you are the person that is starting and stopping every 4 to 6 weeks and you're following the new trend on social media every time you start and stop and you're not getting results and you're gaining weight or you're exhausted, yet you're working out at the gym for hours a day and you think your nutrition's on track, but you're skipping breakfast because you think that's a good thing, know that you're not alone, but know that you can change. Know that there's an option out there when you understand nutrition and you understand the triggers that are happening from your childhood, which is really key that most people don't understand. And you can do it, just like my client. You can do it. And I believe in you, and I believe in you to have the power to change and live your life on your terms.
I'm feeling uplifted just hearing all of this. I know there are maybe a listener, a few listeners, maybe more than that, who are feeling inspired by this and at the same time don't know where to begin. They want to make maybe one small shift today or this week. What's one small tip, but that can have a really impactful effect on their day or their lives that they can begin in this moment?
Eat a protein-packed, nourishing breakfast. Don't skip breakfast. Don't have anything sugary. Don't have bad carbs. Have a protein-packed, nourishing breakfast. What does that mean? 3 egg whites with veggies and some avocado. You're good to go. A healthy protein smoothie that you make, not that you're buying because there's lots of other junk in it. There's many options, but just have a protein-packed, nourishing breakfast, and you will see a huge difference in your day with your energy, with your performance, and with your clarity.
And one and before I leave our listeners with ways they can connect with you, to be a mindful shopper, because I went the other day.
Yes.
My son is my high schooler is really getting into working out and wants to eat more protein to get stronger. And so I was going down. I was in the middle. I was in the middle section of the supermarket.
Uh-oh, watch out.
I was in the cereal aisle, and let me tell you,
Stay away. Stay away.
cereal is danger zone, some of them,
Yeah.
but I saw this box of Cheerios that was advertised as protein packed. It's a new, like, I think it was like a strawberry protein enhanced Cheerio. And I turned it around and it was just additive upon additive. So working together with someone like you to get knowledgeable about ingredients and more wholesome choices can be so supportive, because it's a little dizzying out there if you're not familiar.
Yes.
So be mindful of how people are marketing products, and yeah, with your support, I think it's a much easier process. So if somebody wants to connect with you to learn more about the ways in which they can work with you or just explore more of what you have to offer, how's the best way for them to connect with you?
The best way is on LinkedIn, which is my name, Robyn Engelson, Robyn, and then Engelson. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, and my website as well, of course, which is also robynengelson.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help because your life depends on it.
Love that. And I know that I was feeling a bit exhausted before we got on our call. I didn't get enough sleep last night and I'm already feeling energized just in this short amount of time we had together. So thank you for that and thank you for all of this really helpful information that you shared with our audience. Great to connect with you and I hope that you have a great weekend and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure and honor to be here and add value to your listeners, Courtney. Happy Mother's Day to you and all the other moms out there.
Thank you.